Live. Hello, this is the Gentleman Scholar. I'm also doing this video for a group that I belong to on Facebook called Virtual Book Club. And I have to say, being a part of a reading community really does help you to read a little more and think more deeply about what you're reading. So I come to you live from the Zero Room. In other words, my little my my library. Just look like this. Just flipped around. Just give you a little view. A little geek palace it is. And of course, the back area. This place is pretty much a reflection of everything I'm into, representative sample. But my book report this time is on Ray Bradbury's Dandelion Wine. I have to admit, I haven't read a whole ton of Ray Bradbury. Really loved his Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's, your basic dark carnival comes to town and gives you your life's desire in exchange for your soul type of story. If you've read one, you read them all. No, um, I don't know what magical realism is. I think I just read a novel where it's suffused with magical realism, but if I'm right, then Ray Bradbury definitely has to be the granddaddy of magical realism. But basically, it's a young boy's coming of age tale in the summer of 1928. In this summer of 1928 in Greentown, Wisconsin, pretty much the same area where Bradbury grew up. Um, a a 12-year-old boy basically discovers he's alive, quote unquote. In other words, he just discovers all the sensations of being alive, and it just basically knocks him for a loop when he realizes, the joy, the possibility of being alive. It's also the summer that he learns that friendships don't last, people die, and things end, really. Interspersed with I forget his last name, Douglas is his name, and his brother Tom. Interspersed with this are like little vignettes around the town about, people. Well, one gentleman built a happiness machine in his garage, which would lead me to believe that this is magical realism because generally people don't build happiness machines in their garage. Like, you step into it, it gives you your heart's desire type thing. So you kind of have to, go along for the ride with that one. But yeah, I mean, Ray Bradbury's prose is just nothing short of, I'm trying to find the word, just rich, 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 vivid language. It's like, it's like reading the perfect golden dream of what a boyhood summertime is like. And as a matter of fact, it should be read during the summer. I might end up reading it like at the beginning of like in June next year or something like that. That's how it just captures that spirit of that spirit when you like when school first let out and then June hit and all of a sudden it's like I have all these golden warm days in front of me where I can do whatever I want. I can go play outside, I can watch crappy TV, I can go swimming, I can do anything I want to. No teachers can tell me what to do. It's great. Parents, their authority are sort of like in the background. You are free to do as you wish, pretty much. And that's the spirit that is captured in this particular book. The title Dandelion Wine is basically, you know, the family basically makes dandelion wine. They go out and they pick the flowers off of dandelion wines and just they ferment them. And as a matter of fact, my husband's upstairs looking up recipes for that because I guess he used to make dandelion wine when he was younger. But in a nutshell, dandelion wine represents time being bottled up. Um, they ferment it and they lock it away in the summertime, and they date the bottles so that Douglas can look at a bottle and say, oh, that's the day that that's the day we went to the arcade and we found the old fortune telling gypsy witch in the machine, that kind of thing. That's how he remembers his summer type thing. And you can taste the day that has been bottled up in time. That's the metaphor that Bradbury is using. And to be honest, I have to say it's really about a boy's wanting time to stop. You know, he doesn't want these magical times to end, you know. It should last forever. Summer should last forever, but of course, summer ends like it always does. And even in the book, it takes place in 1929. I think it was written in the 60s or early 70s, if I'm not mistaken. But even in the book, he and his brother are lamenting that they see like back to school stuff on sale at their local store, and they're like, "Oh God, that means school is coming in August," that kind of thing. And how many? Doesn't matter what time period it is, as long as there's been capitalism. Hello from Greece, Aces GR. Um, as long as there's been school, as long as there's been capitalism and stores to buy stuff from, whenever school rolls around, out come the promotions of, notebooks, pens, calculators. It reminds you in August, I would say that August 1st is the cutoff. It's when you start beginning to see, those ominous signs that school's about to start and summer's about to end. Yeah, that's the kind of feeling that this book captures. And uh, I highly recommend it. Also, I can see echoes of Bradbury and Stephen King in a writer called Robert McCammon. I wrote a book called Boy's Life that reminds me of this so much that I was sometimes I was confusing the characters, but that wondrous coming of age childhood type theme, which I noticed is becoming more. Well, I guess it's always been there in popular culture with the Wonder Years and everything else, but particularly now that the 80s are coming back, you see a lot of people who grew up in the 80s watching movies like E.T. and Steven Spielberg and all this other stuff. They basically bringing it back in the form of film, in the form of television. It's their way of bringing back their childhood by recreating the stuff that they watched. But I digress. Um, yes, I would highly recommend that book. I would recommend reading it during summertime because it's far more resonant. And I think I need to read some more Ray Bradbury because he's rich, just rich, multi nuanced, very vivid, evocative language. And I have to say, I feel enriched for having read it. Um, Coming attractions. Going to read a book called The Order of Time by, oh God, yeah, The Order of Time. I forget the Carlo Varelli. I'm getting the name wrong. But after that, I think it's time to, and this is all tentative. I may change my mind. After that, it's time for me to get back to Jamie and Claire Fraser in An Echo in the Bone. I think it's one, two, three, four, five. The sixth book in the Outlander series. But hey, it's all about time, and that's what this book was about too. Time and the passage of it. So go check it out. Go borrow at the library. Go find a copy at Savers or Goodwill or what have you, and just read it and love it. Take care, folks, and we'll see you soon. How do I get out of here? Make it stop.